If you're in your 20s, you're sitting on a hidden advantage that most millionaires wish they had. And one tiny habit, seriously, just one, can literally double your wealth, without picking a single winning stock.
Okay, so if you're in your 20s and even just thinking about investing, you're already way ahead of the game. You're sitting on what is basically a gold mine, and that gold mine is time. Today we're going to break down a really simple but super powerful strategy to turn all that time you have into some serious wealth. It all comes down to one single habit that can change literally everything.
All right, you ready to get started? You've got a little bit of money you can put away each month? That's great. But what if I told you that one tiny tweak to your plan, a habit you start right now, could be the difference between a pretty good retirement and becoming a multimillionaire? Yeah, for real. Let's find out what that secret is.
You know, to make this really hit home, let's look at a question from a real person, a 23-year-old viewer who is right at the starting line of his journey. I bet a lot of you are in the exact same boat.
So meet Piyush. He's 23 from Calcutta, and honestly, he's doing everything you're supposed to do. He started early, he's being consistent, putting in $6,000 every single month, and he's thinking long-term. But he's got this question, and it's a big one. It's a question almost every single new investor asks. Is this enough? Am I actually on the right track here?
Well, the answer to Piyush's question, and maybe your question too, lies in this one powerful concept. It's something financial experts call the step-up. It sounds simple, and it is, but its impact on your final wealth, oh man, it's absolutely massive. This is that secret sauce we were talking about.
Okay, so let's run the numbers. Let's imagine two different paths for Piyush over the next 20 years. Path A is the standard plan. He just sticks with that 6,000 rupees every single month. Consistent, but constant. Now Path B, this is where the magic happens. He starts with the same 6,000 rupees, but he commits to increasing it by just 10% every year. You know, you get a raise at work, you just bump up your investment a little. That's it. Let's see what happens.
So after 20 years of just sticking to the plan, Path A gets Piyush to a final wealth of around 65 lakhs. And hey, that's not bad at all. That's a fantastic result. And it really shows you the power of just being consistent. But you need to hold on, because Path B, it tells a completely different story. And here it is. Just by adding that simple 10% step up each year, Piyush's final wealth doesn't just grow a little bit, it absolutely explodes. It goes from 65 lakhs all the way to 1.5 crore. That is more than double the money, all from one small change in habit. Insane, right?
And look, this isn't just some made-up number. This comes straight from the expert who analyzed Piyush's situation. They said, and I'm quoting here, the final corpus can go from 65 lakhs to 1.5 crore. That, right there, that is the power of the step-up. It's probably the single most important habit you can build as a young investor.
Okay, so we've nailed down how much to invest. You start with what you can, and you step it up every year. The next obvious question is, all right, where do I actually put this money? So let's get into how you can build a smart, focused portfolio right from the beginning.
But first, before we talk about what to do, let's talk about what not to do. There's this huge trap for beginners, and experts have a great name for it, the stamp collection. It's when you end up buying a little bit of this fund, a little bit of that fund, and suddenly you own like 10 or 15 different funds. You feel super diversified, right? But what's really happening is you have a ton of overlap, you're probably buying the same stocks over and over, and it just waters down your returns. You gotta remember, simplicity is your friend here. A focused portfolio, maybe just 4 or 5 funds, that's way more powerful.
So what would a great 4-fund strategy look like? Well, first you start with your core. This is a flexi-cap fund. It gives the fund manager, the flexibility to invest in companies of all sizes. Next up is the stabilizer. This is your large cap fund, investing in India's biggest, most stable companies. It's your safety net. Then you add the booster, a mid-cap fund. This is for those medium-sized companies that have a lot of room for steady growth. And finally, and this is key because you're young, you add the accelerator. This is a small cap fund that can really supercharge your growth over the long run.
And here's a sample of how you might break that down. The FlexiCap, your core, makes up the biggest chunk at 40%. Then, the other three, your large, mid, and small cap funds, your stabilizer, booster, and accelerator, they each get an equal 20% slice of the pie. See how clean that is? It's a simple, balanced, focused portfolio that's just built for long-term growth.
All right, so you have your plan. You know how much to invest, you know where to put it. You think that's it, right? Wrong. Now comes what is, without a doubt, the hardest part of all, the mental game. This is all about fighting that psychological battle, tuning out all the noise, and avoiding that huge, tempting speculation trap.
Let's be real. As a young investor, you are going to get bombarded with hype every day. You've got to actively avoid the noise around things like crypto or futures and options. You have to tune out that FOMO you get from scrolling through social media. All that stuff, it's just short-term gambling. Instead, your focus has to be laser sharp on what actually works. Your long-term goal, your consistent monthly SIPs, and the slow, steady, patient process of building real wealth.
Okay, let's pull all of this together. We've talked about the incredible power of the step-up, we've gone over how to build your first portfolio, and we've talked about the mindset you absolutely need to have. So now, let's boil it all down into a super clear, actionable plan that you can literally start today.
So here's your cheat sheet, your key takeaways. Number 1, just start. Start investing consistently, even if it's a small amount. 2, commit to that 10% annual step-up. Seriously, this is your secret weapon. 3, keep it simple. Build a focused portfolio of just 4 to 5 quality funds. 4, use your age to your advantage. That's your superpower. Add a small cap fund for that high growth potential. And number 5, maybe the most important, ignore the hype. Just stay locked in on your own long-term goal.
Look, the math doesn't lie. The strategy is incredibly simple. You, right now, have the most powerful asset anyone can have, a 40-year head start to build some truly incredible wealth. So really, there's only one question left to ask. Are you going to use it?
Because the difference between being average and being a millionaire isn't luck. It's just one decision you repeat every single year. If you want to master money early and stay ahead of 99% of people, hit subscribe now. Because the earlier you start, the easier everything becomes.